for me, just treating people good was like that. It taught me to like, those people are sometimes the only people listening to you at the end of the night when you're playing, you know, because I played some shitty gigs, dude, like the worst.
Really?
Oh, the worst. Like no one there. You drove 8 hours to go play a show and you set up and it's just like, you know.
Do you ever play during a fight and fights break out and you have to keep playing?
Yeah. And I've had to join fights like in the middle because friends are involved in it.
Really?
In the middle of it.
Why? Because y'all don't have a good percussionist in the area or what happened?
Yeah. Dude, there's some stories, man. The amount of bar fights you've seen when you play in bars for 10 years is a lot. And your friends are bartenders and stuff like that or whatever, and you'll see some shit about to go down. There's like 3 dudes that came in from one of the nights. So this is at Dixie Tavern, right? So I ended up...
Where's that, in Jackson?
It's in Georgia. It's in Marietta, Georgia.
Okay.
It's right on Cobb Parkway. Right where the Brave Stadium is now, the new Brave Stadium. It's right down the road from there. But that was where I cut my teeth. So as we got out of that circuit of like Panama City, Birmingham or whatever, then we started playing around Atlanta more often. And I had like 3 or 4 house gigs around Atlanta. And actually talked them into building the stage that was in there because they didn't have live music. So they built the stage and we would play there. And one of the nights, these 2 dudes from Miami had come in, like one tall, skinny dude and one kind of heavy dude. And so one of my buddies was bartending at the time and ended up having words with him or whatever. And so the tall, skinny dude called one of the female bartenders who was married to another bartender that was there, a different guy, a really bad word, called her the C word.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then so it was off. And so the bouncers, so you know all the bouncers, you know, like you're not going to get skulled.
Right.
You're not going to get curb stomped because nobody's like looking out or whatever. So it was a little safer place to fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we had off-duty friends, off-duty cops that would come in and hear us play and stuff like that. So they're about. So we come in, and I remember this night especially because somebody had given me like a little chocolate mushroom, right?
Yeah, baby.
And so it's like,
love you, baby.
so it's like right before, like 2 or 3 songs before the end of the night, right? So I ate a little piece of chocolate, right?
Yeah,
so
buddy.
whatever. And so we get done playing the song or whatever, and things getting a little HD, you know, it's looking good or whatever. And then these 2 dudes from Miami called her that name, and the bouncers are trying to throw him out or whatever. And one of my buddies has the big one, he's got his arm pushed up on his neck, holding him against the wall. And this other dude, this tall, skinny one, who I think he's on meth because he was crazy strong.
Yeah.
So he's like swinging at everybody. So when I was in college, I did judo at West Georgia. So this dude's swinging at everybody. There's like 6 dudes in a circle, and this dude's just like swinging and just trying to hit somebody, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he's turning around. He swings one of my buddies and misses, whatever. So I get on his back. I get him in a rear naked choke, right?
Yeah.
And I'm starting to be special because from my chocolate, right? So I've got this dude, and I remember the feeling of his warm neck, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I was bigger than, I was probably like 250. You know, I was a bigger
Jacked?
boy. No, just, I mean, I was strong, but I was not
Thicker.
Yeah. So this dude, he goes down to the ground with me on his back. And then this dude is methed up enough, got that super strength, stands up, picks me up with me on his back and gets up. And so then I started using my back. I full on just like cranked it out, right? So I kind of felt him starting, and my feet were off the ground.
Oh, damn.
And so he picked me up.
Oh my God, this is like
he
a
was like
second
cowboy
date.
meth strong, like a bull riding meth dude. Right?
Yeah, let me lasso that pipe, huh?
Yeah. So I'm squeezing this dude, and I finally feel him starting to go limp or whatever, and my feet touch the ground. So I just let go of the dude at that point. And this dude's standing, right, like this. And so there's a brick planter that's right outside Dixie Tavern. This dude fell like a tower, bro. Back. Hit his forehead on the bricks, bro. Cut his head open. Ooh. I'm tripping. Dude hits the ground. Pool of blood starts coming out from this dude's head.
And when you try to put it back in his head?
And then I think at that point I just kill this dude, right? Oh. So I run in the back, and I go get in the beer cooler where the kegs are, bro. What? And I'm sitting in the cooler with all the kegs are.
You think you're gonna be so cold that the cops can't find you or something?
Yeah, they weren't gonna find me with a thermal scan because I was getting hypothermia in there, bro. I was all by myself. And so that everybody's looking for me or whatever, trying to find me.
They're using a depth finder or something. Yeah.
So I'm sitting next to this cooler, and after about 30 minutes, bro, and I just keep seeing this blood going, like coming out of this dude's head. And I'm sitting there and I'm shivering or whatever. And somebody finally comes in and is like, "Are you okay?" Whatever. And they're like, "Just stay in here or whatever." So I'm like, "Fuck." So then I get really cold. So I'm like, you know, I'm at like 35 degrees by then, bro. So I'm like, so I come out and I walk out and I look outside and there's ambulance, fire truck, police, like the whole place is crawling with like, you know.
Yeah, federales.
Yeah. So my buddy Mike was an off-duty cop and he was there. He told the cops that he hit the dude and knocked him out and he hit the thing. So I was off the hook or whatever, but that was a wild trip. So this dude's on the ground, and right when they start to pull a gurney up or whatever to put this dude on a gurney and move him because they didn't touch him because they thought his neck was broken or whatever, he woke up and he runs to this bush. Cops are all out there at this point. He runs out to this bush and starts shuffling around in this bush, and cops are fucking pulling out their guns and shit and whatever. The dude pulls a gun out of the bush, grabs a gun, and the cop fucking knocks it out of his hand, grabs him, puts him in cuffs and all this shit or whatever. But that dude was close to pulling that thing out and shooting somebody, but
he could have shot somebody earlier if you hadn't
exactly
had that opportunity to ride on his back.
Exactly, yeah. That was wild, bro. But there's a lot of nights like that I've had playing in bars.
And what song were y'all playing when this happened?
Dude, it was over because I had just gotten done and it was like they did last call and they were kind of clearing people out, and I don't think that they were ready to leave, but you know.
That's kind of the most dangerous time. It's that weird time when the bar is like, you know, it's kind of closed. People are like, if they've been talking to a girl, they're trying to get in their last words or something. It's almost like the final round of like a dating show. Someone's violently drunk. Someone has been abandoned by their friends or spouse. Some guy's just been doing coke and is just chewing off the last few inches of his face in the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
He finally shows back up.
That's why I would never want my kids to work in a restaurant or a bar, because I've seen all that shit like firsthand. And what happens after all that, and like what people do to keep bartending and drinking shots. Like nobody can drink 1,000 shots a night without doing a bunch of blow.
Yeah.
And so it's around everywhere. It's cash money, and people are, you know, it's
Were
wild.
people ripping it pretty hard? Were you guys partying pretty hard?
I wasn't, but as soon as I saw that the first time, then I started seeing it everywhere.
Isn't that crazy?
Every bar, dude. It's just like that was all going on the whole time, and I had no idea.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you get a car, then you see them all the time.
Exactly.
It's like the first time you see somebody do coke and you're like, oh, I see everybody's doing this everywhere.
Yeah.
People aren't just kind of casually touching each other's hands like that in the bar for no reason.
Yeah. Well, my bass player early on, I get done playing him and people would come up and go, hey, man, let me holler at Donnie, you know, or let me holler at Jimmy or whatever the dude's name was. And I was like, why do you need to holler at him? And so it turns out he was dealing blow at my shows.
Oh,
so I had to fire him.
Oh yeah.
He could play fast though, bro.
I'm sure
he could play fast, dude. And I had no idea this was happening, right? So I let go. But that's how I met John Hopkins, who was the first guy that was in my band that I have now.
John Hopkins.
Yeah,
and not the lymphoma guy, is it?
The same name.
It is
John Hopkins. Yeah.
Oh, I met him at Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
You guys played a special event there.
So Hops.
Oh yeah.
Hops the first one that was in my band, but I was recording with him and I told him about my bass player and he was like, well, I can play a little bass. I can sit in. So, you know, in February, it'll be 20 years of him sitting in.
Wow.
But he's one of the best singers, dude. Best fucking background singer, period. But he had a band called Brighter Shade, which was like this kind of heavier metal band that was badass. He could scream and, you know, was legit. So that was the beginning of the band that I have now. He was the first member coming into that. But because it wouldn't have happened if my bass player hadn't been dealing blow.
Damn.
Yeah.
That guy could have still been with you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't know,
not.
dude. His ticks would have, I would have found out with the ticks eventually. All the ticks made sense after that.
He had that pentameter on him, huh? Some people get a little iambic, bro. If you have a little too much blow cane, baby, I've been there. I turn into a damn harmonica, son.